everyone. Grab a cup of tea and get comfortable. I really mean it. We want you cozy for this one. And George, you look like you already had your tea, right?
I did, yes. You know me, I'm running on tea, quiet mornings, and mild optimism.
Mild optimism is such a George thing to say. But seriously, hi everyone. We're happy you're here with us again. And today we have a really delicious topic.
Very delicious. Potentially dangerous too, because every time we talk about food, you get hungry halfway through the episode.
Well, someone has to bring emotion into this studio. If I didn't get hungry, it wouldn't be authentic. It wouldn't be a real conversation.
True. And you're always authentic. You're also always ready to talk about food, which makes today perfect.
Exactly. And before we jump in, just a little reminder. If you enjoy natural English conversations like this, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps us keep creating for you.
Beautifully said. Now, shall we begin?
Let's. So, topic of the day, talking about your favorite food in English. Something simple, something warm, something that feels very human.
And very useful. Because talking about food is one of the most common things people do in everyday conversations. It's small talk, it's culture, it's comfort.
And honestly, it's one of the easiest ways to connect with someone. You just ask, "What's your favorite food?" And suddenly you have a whole story.
Yes, because people don't just say pizza or pasta. They usually add feelings. They say something like, "Oh, I love pizza because it reminds me of Saturday nights with my family."
Yes. Food always comes with a memory attached, and that's so beautiful.
So today, we're going to help you talk naturally about your favorite food using simple English, warm English, emotional English. Because real conversations aren't just about grammar, they're about feelings.
Exactly. And we'll sprinkle in some useful expressions. Things like, to be honest, you know what I mean? Kinda, my go-to, I'm in the mood for. It reminds me of, nothing beats, hands down, once in a while, and I could eat it every day. Natural things you'd hear in a cafe or during a friendly chat.
Very good list. And all of them will appear naturally as we talk. So, Anastasia, brave question. What's your all-time favorite food?
Okay. I know this sounds simple, maybe even boring, but my favorite food is soup.
Soup? That's unexpected. Out of all possible foods, pasta, sushi, chocolate cake, you choose soup?
Yes, soup is magical. Soup is warm. Soup feels like someone is giving you a hug, but from the inside.
That's a very emotional description of soup.
Well, it's me. You expected logic?
Fair point. But tell me more. What kind of soup?
Honestly, any kind. Vegetable soup, mushroom soup, chicken soup, creamy, clear, spicy, simple. I love them all. But if I had to choose one, I'd say creamy mushroom soup. It's my go-to.
Ah, good choice. And why that one?
Because it reminds me of autumn. You know those days when the air is cold but the leaves are golden, and you come home tired and hungry, and you smell something warm and earthy from the kitchen?
Yes, I can imagine it. Very atmospheric.
Exactly. And creamy mushroom soup is like slow comfort. It doesn't shout, it just makes you feel okay again.
That's a very emotional description of soup.
Well, it's me. You expected logic?
Fair point. But tell me more. What about when you're not in a calm autumn mood? What if you're tired and stressed and you need something stronger?
Then I want something spicy, something with a kick. Thai curry maybe. Red curry. Actually, wait. Okay, I changed my answer. My favorite food is Thai red curry.
This is why interviews with you are unpredictable. You change your favorite answer every 3 minutes.
But that's real life. People don't actually have one permanent favorite. It depends on the mood.
True. And that's a useful expression for our listeners. I'm in the mood for. Like, I'm in the mood for something spicy today.
Yes. Or, I'm in the mood for comfort food. Or, I'm in the mood for something sweet.
It's a natural way to explain your food cravings without sounding robotic.
And you know what? I'm in the mood for asking you now. George, what's your favorite food?
Mine is a bit more simple. I love pasta. Specifically, pasta with tomato sauce and basil.
Classic, elegant, predictable, very George.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment. But pasta, to me, is like a quiet evening. It's gentle, it's comforting, it's easy to cook, and nothing beats a good homemade tomato sauce.
But is it your everyday comfort? Like, if you're tired, do you think, pasta? I need pasta.
Yes, definitely. And honestly, I could eat it every day. Well, almost every day. Maybe 6 days a week.
Wow, that's serious loyalty.
What can I say? When I love something, I stay loyal.
Do you have a specific memory connected to pasta?
Yes, it reminds me of my grandmother. She taught me how to make fresh pasta when I was little. I remember her hands, slow, patient, experienced. She didn't teach by speaking. She just showed me with gestures. And somehow, even as a child, I understood.
That's beautiful.
Food often connects us to people. And that's something learners can use in conversations. Talk about memories, not just ingredients.
Right. Because if someone only says, my favorite food is pasta, the conversation stops quickly. But if you add, it reminds me of my grandmother, the conversation opens.
Exactly. And you don't need complicated English to make it interesting. Simple details are enough. Like, I love pancakes because my dad used to make them on Sundays. Or, I love sushi because my friend took me to a Japanese restaurant for the first time.
Yes, stories bring English to life.
Speaking of stories, what's the weirdest food you've ever tried?
Oh no, you had to go there, didn't you?
Of course, I love weird food stories.
Okay, the weirdest one I tried was fried insects.
What? George, really?
Yes, long time ago in a night market, I was trying to be adventurous.
How did it taste?
Surprisingly fine, crispy, like salty chips, but with legs.
No, that's too much. I can't. My imagination is too strong.
Well, you asked.
You're right, I did. Fine, my turn. The weirdest thing I've tried was snail soup.
Snail soup?
Snails, mushrooms, herbs, cooked together. It tasted earthy, like licking a forest.
That's a very poetic way to say strange.
But honestly, I respect all cuisines. Food traditions are part of culture.
Yes, and talking about food is a very soft way to talk about culture without stereotypes. It's safe, friendly, and universal.
Exactly. That's why, for English learners, food is such a good topic. You can connect with anyone.
Let's help them with some structures. For example, when someone asks, "What's your favorite food?" you can answer with, "My favorite food is blank because blank. I love blank. It reminds me of blank. I'm in the mood for blank these days. My go-to comfort food is blank. I could eat blank every day."
And you can ask the other person, what about you? Do you like spicy food? What's your comfort food? Have you tried blank before? Do you cook it yourself?
Very good. And all of that uses simple grammar.
Yes. You don't need advanced vocabulary to sound natural. Just warmth and curiosity.
Speaking of which, do you cook your favorite foods yourself?
Sometimes, but I'm not patient when cooking. I'm more of a quick, emotional chef. I put things together based on my heart, not instructions.
Teasing. That explains why your mushroom soup tastes slightly different every time.
That's part of the charm. Cooking with me is an adventure.
I believe that. Meanwhile, I follow recipes very carefully. I read them twice, I measure everything. I'm extremely boring in the kitchen.
You're not boring, you're precise. And that's a good balance. If we cooked together, you'd keep us from burning the house down.
True. And you'd keep us from falling asleep while cooking.
Perfect team.
Perfect team indeed.
You know, George, now I can't stop thinking about cooking together. I imagine us in the kitchen, you with your measuring cups and timers, and me with my chaotic energy.
That sounds accurate. I'd be following the recipe like my life depends on it, and you'd be adding just a little more garlic every 5 minutes.
But garlic is life. You can never have too much garlic. It's one of those ingredients that says, hey, everything's going to be fine.
I never thought of garlic as a motivational speaker, but here we are.
Cooking makes me poetic, okay? It just does.
And that's why you're great at conversations. Food brings out stories in you, feelings, memories.
True. And I think it does that for a lot of people. Even when they're learning English, talking about food makes them relax.
Because it's something familiar. It's something everyone experiences every day.
Exactly. You don't need advanced vocabulary to say what you like. You can start very simple. I like rice. I like chicken. I like chocolate. And then add a little detail.
And suddenly it becomes natural, not robotic.
George, do you think everyone has a food personality?
A food personality. Interesting. What do you mean?
Like, some people are soup people, some are pasta people, some are salad people, and some are dessert people.
Ah, okay. So in that case, you're definitely a comfort food person.
Yes, comfort food is my soul. It's my emotional home.
And I'm probably a simple food person. I appreciate clean flavors, minimal chaos.
Which means you're not a dessert person.
Correct. I like dessert, but I don't need it. I'm not one of those people who say, I need something sweet after every meal.
Oh, I am. Absolutely. I'm one of those people who say, I need something sweet before, during, and after every meal.
That sounds dangerous.
It's not dangerous. It's a lifestyle, a sweet lifestyle.
and a very emotional one.
Of course, desserts are emotional. They have personality. They have drama.
Drama?
Yes, cake is like, look at me. I'm soft. I'm beautiful. I'm here to save your day. Ice cream is like, hey, let's relax. Let's cool down. And chocolate says, everything is going to be okay.
That's a fantastic analysis. You should write a psychological book about desserts.
I should. The Secret Life of Desserts.
Bestseller.
But let's talk about English for a moment. There's a really useful expression when talking about food, hands down. Like, chocolate cake is, hands down, the best dessert in the world.
Yes, it means without a doubt. Very natural. Another good one is once in a while. Like, I eat pizza once in a while. Which is not true because I eat pizza more than that.
I can confirm that. I'm sorry, I just love pizza. And burgers, and dumplings, and...
And everything.
yes, everything. I'm a food lover. A full-time food lover.
Food lovers are great to talk to. And for English learners, food lovers are the best conversation partners because they always have something to say.
Exactly. If you ever feel shy in English, talk about food. It's safe, it's warm, it's universal, and you can share simple details.
Like, I usually eat breakfast at 8. Or, my favorite dish from my country is. Or, I can't cook well, but I try.
That last one is very honest.
Honesty works well in conversations.
It really does. And food opens emotional doors. When someone tells you about their childhood dish, that's intimacy.
It's also cultural connection. You get to learn about someone's country without asking complicated questions.
Yes. Like, if someone tells me, my mom makes dumplings every New Year, I immediately want to know more. Not because of dumplings, but because of the story.
Exactly. Food is just the starting point.
Speaking of cultural foods, what's one dish you want to try but haven't tried yet?
Good question. Let me think. Maybe real Japanese ramen. Not the instant one, not the grocery store version, but actual ramen made by someone who trained for years.
Oh, yes. Real ramen is life-changing.
I imagine it tastes like depth,
Depth? That's such a George word.
but accurate.
Yes, ramen has emotional depth. It's more than noodles. It's a whole philosophy.
And what about you? What do you want to try?
Easy. Real Mexican street tacos.
Ah, good choice.
I want to stand on the street with warm wind and eat tacos from a food stand. I want the salsa to be spicy enough to make me cry, but in a good way.
You want the full experience.
Yes, food is an experience, not just taste.
And for English learners, describing experiences makes their language come alive.
Right. You can say it tasted fresh, it was spicy, it was sweet, it reminded me of home. Nothing beats the smell of...
All simple, all natural.
And here's another tip. Use kind of. For example, it's kind of sweet, it's kind of spicy, it's kind of like pasta, but lighter.
Yes, kind of is very common. It softens your statement, makes it more casual.
What about talking about cooking skills? Like, how do people describe themselves?
They can say, I'm not a great cook, but I try. Or I'm good at making pasta. Or I usually cook simple meals.
Or, I don't cook much, but I love eating. That's me.
Yes, that is you. But you know what's interesting? Some people cook as a way to relax.
Yes, I'm one of them.
You relax In the kitchen?
Yes, when I cook, I focus. It's like meditation. The world becomes quiet. I only hear the sound of chopping, boiling water, the slow rhythm of the recipe.
That's beautiful. Cooking as meditation. For some people, it really is, especially when life is stressful.
But for me, cooking is the opposite. It's chaos. It's emotion. It's me running around the kitchen shouting, "Where's the salt? I swear I just saw it. It was here."
I can imagine.
But the result is delicious, most of the time. Not always, but most.
It's about the feeling, not perfection.
Exactly. Cooking with heart is always better than cooking with fear.
That's a good quote.
Thank you. You can put it on the mug.
Maybe I will.
But talking about favorite food always makes me wonder about childhood. Like, what was your favorite food when you were a kid?
Pasta. Always pasta. Some things never change.
That's adorable. Mine was mashed potatoes. I loved them. I still do.
Mashed potatoes are the food equivalent of a blanket.
Yes, that's exactly it. They're warm, soft, safe, like a blanket you can eat.
You're very good at metaphors today.
Food inspires me.
Clearly.
But let's go a little deeper. Do you think a person's favorite food can tell you something about them?
In some cases, yes. Not scientifically, but emotionally. For example, people who love spicy food often enjoy excitement. People who love simple food often enjoy structure. People who love sweets often enjoy comfort and reward.
And people who love soup?
They're probably soft, introspective, emotional, and in your case, a little dramatic.
Okay, that's fair.
And what do you think pasta says about me?
That you're thoughtful, simple in a beautiful way, calm, steady, and maybe a little nostalgic.
That's surprisingly accurate.
See? Food personality is real.
Maybe it is.
Another cultural thing, in some countries, people talk about food all the time. Food is part of social bonding.
Yes, like Italy, Turkey, Mexico, Thailand, food is deeply social.
And in other places, food is more functional. People eat because they're hungry, not because it's emotional.
Right. But even then, everyone has that one dish that feels like home.
And that's universal.
And that's what makes food such a great topic for English practice. You can talk about taste, memories, culture, emotions, all with very simple grammar.
And that's why we love teaching through conversations, because real English comes from real life, not textbooks.
Exactly. And talking about food is one of the best ways to sound natural quickly.
You know what? I think people should practice today's expressions, like my go-to, hands down, kind of, once in a while, nothing beats, I could eat it every day, I'm in the mood for.
Yes, they're extremely common. If you start using them, your English immediately sounds more natural.
And less robotic.
Always a good thing.
George, talking about all these expressions makes me want to test you a little.
Test me. That sounds dangerous. What kind of test?
Describe your dream meal test.
My dream meal?
Yes. Imagine it's your perfect day. No time limits, no calories, no responsibility, no meetings, no emails, just you and your dream meal. What is it?
Interesting challenge. Give me a second. Okay. I think it would start with fresh bread. You know the kind. Crusty on the outside, soft on the inside, and still warm.
Warm bread. Yes, that's heaven.
Then a pasta dish. Something simple but perfect. Maybe linguine with a slow-cooked tomato sauce. Imagine basil, olive oil, a little garlic. That's it. Nothing complicated.
Of course, because nothing beats simplicity for you.
Exactly. And then a small dessert, something light, maybe lemon sorbet.
Lemon sorbet? George, you're so elegant. My dream meal would start with, I don't know, cheesy garlic bread or something dramatic?
That also sounds good.
No, you're being polite. Let me describe my dream meal. First, I'd have dumplings, a big plate, different fillings, then sushi, then Thai curry, then pasta, then a slice of chocolate cake, and then
Anastasia, that's not a dream meal. That's a dream week.
I know, but you said no rules, no limits. My dream meal is everything I love in one magical moment.
That sounds like an emotional festival.
Exactly, a food festival in my heart.
And your stomach?
My stomach is strong. It can handle love.
But can it handle 12 different dishes?
Yes, if it's a dream meal, it can do anything.
Fair enough. Dreams have no calories.
See, that's the perfect rule.
But okay, let's bring this back to English for a second. This kind of conversation, describing your dream meal, is amazing practice. You use simple phrases, but you show personality.
Yes, expressions like, to be honest, you know what I mean, my go-to, I could eat it every day, in the mood for, all of these make you sound natural.
And you don't need complex grammar. You just talk like you're talking to a friend.
Exactly. And when you talk to a friend about food, you don't think about mistakes. You think about feelings.
And about hunger.
Yes, and hunger is very motivating.
Actually, now I'm starting to think about dinner.
Me too. And that's the magic of talking about favorite foods. It's not just language practice, it's emotional practice.
Emotional practice? Interesting.
Yes, because when you talk about food, you're practicing how to share your feelings in English, whether it's excitement, nostalgia, curiosity, or disgust.
Disgust?
Yes, like when you described fried insects.
That wasn't disgust. That was bravery.
Okay, brave disgust.
For our listeners, describing food you don't like is also great practice. You can say, I'm not a big fan of, it's not really my thing. It's kind of too salty for me. I don't like the texture.
Yes, texture. English speakers talk about texture all the time.
Crunchy, chewy, creamy, crispy, smooth.
Ooh, crispy. The best word.
You really are hungry now, aren't you?
Yes, very. And you?
A little.
A little? George, come on. If I'm hungry, you're hungry. It's a law of the studio.
I'll accept that.
Good. Now let's talk about comfort food. That's such a key phrase in English.
Absolutely. Comfort food is the food you eat to feel better. It doesn't have to be healthy. It just has to be emotionally satisfying.
For me, comfort food is soup and the mashed potatoes and noodles and chocolate.
And pizza and dumplings and ice cream?
Okay, yes, that too. But let's pretend I'm healthy and emotional.
Whatever you say. And for you, comfort food is pasta, right?
Yes, 100%. Pasta is my emotional safe place.
That's adorable.
What about comfort drinks?
Ah, hot chocolate or tea with honey, something warm.
Same. Warm drinks feel calming, like someone telling you, it's okay, slow down.
Yes, and this brings us to cultural habits. For example, in some cultures, tea is the center of social life. In others, it's coffee.
And in some places, like where I'm from, food is love. If you're sad, someone brings food. If you're happy, someone brings food. If you're breathing, someone brings food.
That sounds warm.
It is. I grew up in a kitchen, basically. A kitchen full of noise, smells, and affection.
And for me, meals were more quiet, more simple, but still warm in their own way.
That's the beauty of food. It adapts to the culture
And to the person.
and to the day. Sometimes your favorite food changes because your mood changes.
Like today?
Today, I'm in the mood for sushi, or pasta, or curry, or dumplings, or
Everything.
yes, everything.
But let me ask you something deeper. Why do you think people love talking about food?
Because food is safe. You can talk about it with anyone. Kids, adults, strangers, friends. Food doesn't judge you.
And it doesn't require difficult vocabulary.
Yes, anyone can say, it's good, I like it tastes great, it smells amazing.
And even simple adjectives like sweet, spicy, salty, sour, bitter, creamy, crunchy, they all help paint a picture.
And when learners become more confident, they can add emotional language too. It reminds me of home. I miss this taste. This is my comfort food. This feels cozy.
Simple, but meaningful.
And that's what real English is all about. Meaning, not perfection.
Agreed.
Speaking of meaning, do you think cooking for someone is like saying, I care about you?
Absolutely. Cooking is a love language. Even simple cooking.
Even toast?
Yes, toast with intention.
I love that phrase, toast with intention.
But it's true. If someone makes you breakfast, even something small, it's a gesture of kindness.
Yes, food is communication, silent communication.
And that's why it's such a rich topic for our listeners. They can practice not just English, but emotional connection.
And you can ask people about food anywhere, at work, at school, on a date, on a trip. It's the easiest bridge topic.
For example, what's a dish from your country I should try?
Oh, yes. That question always starts a great conversation.
And it shows curiosity, respect.
And people love sharing their culture through food.
Exactly. Now, before we go into our reflective moment, I have a final question.
I'm listening.
If you had to choose between never eating pasta again or never eating dessert again, which one would you choose?
That's evil.
Yes, I know. I think I would give up dessert.
What? Really?
Yes, because pasta is part of my soul. Dessert is pleasant, but pasta is identity.
Wow. Respect.
Your turn.
Oh, I would give up dessert.
Really?
Yes, because without noodles, I'm nothing.
That's profound.
I know. When I think about food, I think about connection. We all grow up with different flavors, different meals, different traditions, but even with those differences, food brings us together.
Because everyone eats. Everyone has memories. Everyone has comfort foods.
Yes, and when you share those things, even in simple English, you share a part of yourself. That's why talking about your favorite food is a beautiful way to practice real conversation.
and a beautiful way to learn about others.
What about you listening right now? Tell us in the comments, what's your favorite food? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Smiles.
Before we finish, let's revisit a few expressions we used today, just quickly. My go-to, nothing beats, kind of, once in a while, and hands down. Very useful in real conversations.
And easy to use in everyday English.
If you liked this episode, subscribe, leave a like, and share it. It really helps our little studio grow.
And now I think dinner is calling.
Same here. Another cozy chat done. Time for a snack break.
Chuckles, you read my mind. See you all next week.